carry if you want to. I'm still not a big fan of obviously taking the Ezreal off the rip, but could look towards something like a Xayah or something along these lines as they go towards the Ezreal off rip. Yeah, I mean, especially because you got Elk and ShiauC, two of the most aggressive bot lanes we have. Elk, a really good Kai'Sa player as well. I think you just take the Kai'Sa and the Nautilus, and Ultra Prime are in a really good spot.
I know this is a side point. We'll get back to the analytics of the draft, but I feel like RA just win because their coaching combo is called Endless Water. Like they're endless and then water as two people, but together they form the coaching duo of Endless Water, and that is terrifying. Endless Water is a scary thing.
Or it's a really nice, relaxing place.
Or it could be like one of those infinity pools, you know?
Yeah.
The endless water because it looks like it ends. But enough about my distractions because we do have a decent amount of picks coming across here. The Ezreal, the Lee Sin as well for RA. I think that's a huge pick for Leyan. It will be the Aphelios and the Renata as the duo pickup for Ultra Prime.
Yeah, Renata is terrifying with the Aphelios because it means you do end up having like that second lease of life, and the amount of damage this Aphelios can do as well. You have to be so careful about getting in close to that. The only problem that I see though is like with Rare Adam's composition, they can actually just start to go back over towards more of these poke oriented picks, right? Like Strive, perfectly happy to take something like an Azir, a Corki into the middle. Excuse me, sorry. And you can even have Cube just try and play like something like a Gangplank in the top side. Like as long as you stay without, or you're not within touching distance of the Aphelios, you're actually pretty okay to deal with this combo. So for Rare Adam, I think you just try and take a lot of range into your comp and keep Ultra Prime at arm's length.
We see a lot of focus towards this mid lane for these last bans. I can appreciate that one. It sets up perfectly because that's where I wanted to keep my eyes on. We'll see the champion pools for both these two mid laners if they grow a little bit more. Will be the LeBlanc and the Lissandra ban. That matchup itself taken away, which I find interesting in its own right. But it's about these last bans. It's the TF against Cryin.
I love these bans because you're kind of looking going, okay, well, if we're going to try and keep Ultra Prime at arm's length, what are the things that can actually set up engages against us? Lissandra, Twisted Fate, both things that can help close that gap. The only other one I'd be kind of worried about is something like the Taliyah, which Cryin could still go to and has looked really, really strong on. So unless Rare Adam are like, okay, maybe Strive takes that for himself here. But we're already kind of saying, look, he can go back towards the Corki to have more of that poke. And now I think Cryin, you take the Taliyah here and try and make sure that you're able to actually get some sort of way of starting these fights.
Yeah, I mean, he's super comfortable on the Taliyah as well. He's already played it 3 times, most played in Summer Split itself. I will point out for the Rare Adam squad, though, tons and tons of that ranged poke there, like you were mentioning earlier, and it's getting scarier as it goes. See that roundabout with the maybe tank top or something along those lines with Rare Adam, but maybe they go with Jace or something else. Maybe we just keep going poke. We'll have to see. That is the Taliyah. Thankfully locked in, though, for Ultra Prime. I think that's something comfortable for them. It's something that they can play around as well, and we've seen Cryin perform to a T with it. And to round it out, a little bit of tankiness, a little bit of similarity, a little bit of comfort. Zoom will be bringing out the Sejuani once again, and it's insta locked in as a Mordekaiser response to that Sejuani.
Yeah, I mean, from Cube's perspective, this works out really well. You've got good ability to try and poke at the Sejuani in lane. She doesn't really have the damage to, like, outright kill you. And if Hacker ever tries to gank up towards that top side, you get to just ult away Sejuani and get out of that scot-free. So, nice round out to the composition here for Rare Adam. But also something that can do very well if you are trying to all in and jump into the face of Rare Adam as Ultra Prime. Suddenly, Elk is now in the Shadow Realm with Cube. He's not dealing that damage. You now have a few moments and a big window of opportunity to actually deal with Ultra Prime lacking their main damage dealer. So I think you've got a really nice composition from Rare Adam, and it's going to be an Ultra Prime to try and get the ball rolling early so they can actually get control of this game and deny Rare Adam the opportunity to play at arm's length.
And I want to go back to what we were talking about at the start of the day, right? For win conditions, or at least, expectations for both these two teams, because we did have a little bit of negative things towards these two teams as they have not had the most positive of starts to the summer split. But when you're looking at Ultra Prime in specific, you look at the team composition that they've drafted for themselves. You always got to check in. Are you going to play to your team composition's win conditions that you set out for yourself? And we'll have to check up on that as Ultra Prime go into this first game itself. But for RA, right, we were saying we just need to keep these dives, keep these aggressions simple for themselves. They need to just keep the game out in front of them and not get caught up in all the craziness, not get caught up in all the ridiculous strategies, things like that. Just find a way to win. Consistency is the name of the game, and it is something we need to see out of both these two squads. Ultra Prime kicking it off against Rare Adam as we hit the Rift. Speaking of hitting the Rift, Elk getting hit. He's getting hit real bad. He's getting hit real bad. It's an Ignite, it's a Flash, and it's a little bit of a win for RA early on.
Leyan didn't want to take the Q, but the shot's not going to rain down. They're still trying to see if they can pop it. Yeah, Elk didn't want to, Leyan didn't want to take the Q on towards ShiauC, knowing that Elk still had the heal up and available, but that would have been such a close call. Still though, Rare Adam burning the flash from Elk already is a massive advantage for them.
Just a little cheeky around the corner there. Had no idea that was coming as well. It's nicely done there to get the flash out of the bottom lane. Got to see a return down here for Leyan, though, if they want to take advantage of the early pressure. iBoy is taking some advantage here. They've got it spotted out as Hacker's going to be starting out of his red, but it's iBoy getting some poke on Elk before he can get even into lane.
iBoy running that first strike as well means he gets the +6 gold, so just getting a little bit of an advantage for themselves in this, but Elk and ShiauC are going to have a ton of pressure in this bot side. ShiauC's E just takes so long to actually be able to come off a cooldown that Yuyanjia should be able to get a good amount of poke in, and even the handshake has a fairly sizable cooldown as well. So just from that perspective, Elk, as you can see already, going to be under a ton of harass in this lane.
It's about the poke, though. That's what RA came into this one with. It is the Strive, iBoy, Yuyanjia poke trio here. Let's see how much they can get out, and especially before fights. How much of those health bars can they chunk down? Bottom lane is going to be something to keep an eye out on, though. But as we see both junglers taking a bit of opposite side starts, it will be a full clear looking like for Leyan as he went up to the Krugs as the Lee Sin, and none of that early pathing shenanigans that we might be looking for. But iBoy still looking for the aggression onto Elk and ShiauC in the bottom lane.
Yeah, and every time Elk and ShiauC end up taking this punishment, it's not only hurting their health bars, you are getting that first strike gold into iBoy, so that's going to start to ramp up pretty sizably, and that's why you need Hacker to try and help out on this bottom side. Get Cryin to go down towards this bottom lane as well, even opting in towards the Ghost with Cryin. Like, you know that this guy wants to start roaming around the map as soon as possible.
As soon as possible, but it could not come soon enough, as we still are about 3 minutes in. 2 minutes till the Hextech Dragon comes on the Rift, but iBoy and them are still just pushing this bottom lane. You'll have Leyan down here too, just in case Elk and ShiauC get a little bit scared and maybe are presenting themselves as a tower dive in bottom lane, but it's still just the poke game here, and Yuyanjia actually getting a decent amount of damage used back onto him as well. So Elk and ShiauC, no slouches down here.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if or try and go for any sort of dive in the bot lane, just because iBoy did start with tier. He went for a bit of the greedier build, and it does make sense in this lane, right? You know you're going to have a ton of pressure. You know you're going to be able to push the lane regardless, so you're not looking to all in the 2v2, just get that poke. So the tier works out nicely, getting the regen, but also allowing you to stack that up nice and early. So at least for Rare Adam, they know they're in this for the long haul, where you're not going to have Leyan like trying to make crazy plays mid with Strive, because you don't really have the CC. You don't have the CC bot either. The only place you could maybe look for it is top side, but why do that when you can just try and deny Hacker from having any sort of influence on the map, and instead just look to play towards your strong mid game?
iBoy taking a decent trade there on the bottom side, but as we saw, the early attempt from Hacker to get something going on the Viego was just looking at the enemy side top lane, or top jungle side there against Leyan, but didn't find anything up there. Had to go ahead and reset. And both junglers just ships in the night so far. Opposite sides have been the key here. But Leyan now on the top side, while Zoom has a push going. We'll see. Leyan doesn't get spotted. No way. It's the secret agent, Leyan. This is insane. No way that Zoom is going to... Oh, my gosh. He's going to find the back end of it. He does not have flash. He does not have anything to get out of this. Zoom is just dead. And this will be first blood for RA.
Nicely done by Leyan. Ends up dodging all the vision control that had been set up nicely by Ultra Prime, thanks to that ward hop over the wall. So nice job by Leyan, just spotting where Ultra Prime had covered all their vision and moving around it beautifully.
I can't believe he just did that. That is some dirty stuff right there, man. Leyan Zoom has to be like, what? We had the scuttle, we had wards. Like, what? How did this even happen? He died.
Yeah, It's the downside of topside scuttle is that it doesn't quite catch the edge of that Baron pit, so you're able to just skedaddle inches around it and make sure that you're able to get that play.
Scuttle, I like it. You're a man. You're a man that knows how to get to my heart, Dagda. I've always appreciated that about you.
I always knew you were a big Sibilance fan, you know. But yeah, this is the thing right now. RA get the control on that top side, so Cube going to be able to take over in this matchup. You got Leyan with a nice early lead, and that extra little bit of gold is going to help out spectacularly if he has to try and face up against Hacker. Even Cube now, oh, he might be in trouble.
Yeah, Zoom is not having fun up here now after just that one gank. His Cube taking advantage now. He does have level 6 as well. So that'd be something scary here. ShiauC in the mid lane, though. Yuyanjia is here as well to find something potentially here. The handshake not going to go out just yet as Cryin does take a ton of damage from Strive poke.
And this is the thing, Cryin doesn't have the opportunity to like TP back into the lane like Strive does, so he really needs to get the push down nicely. At least there is the little bit of a honey fruit there to help him out, but because he's got to move out of lane, Strive pushes mid, and now they're starting to get this vision control established on bot side. Rare Adam kind of realizing, look, now that Cryin has hit level 6, Cryin is going to want to move down to this bot lane, going to try and want to help out Elk and ShiauC. But if we can get that vision control down for Rare Adam, that just being able to spot that is going to buy us so much time.
And I do want to see what Leyan does with this early advantage. Something for RA as a whole, right, that we saw especially the last split was Leyan, a lot of the times, was the piece to the team that was getting everything going, was starting off plays, was looking for aggressive paths into jungle matchups and trying to force fights around those skirmishes early on. And a lot of the time, it was Cube and Strive joining those skirmishes to make sure things work out for Leyan. And this time around with Lee Sin not really having that, but still having the first kill, I wonder if we get to see that aggression tick up a little bit. I know it's durability patch, we're 7.5 minutes in, but Leyan is an aggressive jungler.
Yeah, I think the big thing here for Leyan is just like, why would you bother risking it, right? Like, you know that you're going to hit your mid game great. You know that you've got the range advantage. Like, you're under no pressure to actually influence this game too crazily. So instead, all he needs to do is try and match Hacker. And if Hacker is playing this style where he's just not going to gank at all, that works out wonderfully for Leyan. You can see here as well, like, he's even just shadowing Cube here. Doesn't have to go for the gank. All he needs to do is make sure that Cube can get this freeze off, and he's going to be able to punish Zoom even more. Yeah,
and Hacker went for that early invade, but besides that, really hasn't been able to be present for any of the engages, any of the fights, or anything like that. Has the Sheen now, though, and the Caulfield's Warhammer coming up here for the Rift Herald fight, potentially, as both junglers are going to be calling some teammates here. We got pings for both teams, but it is the support ShiauC from Ultra Prime who makes it up there first. Leyan gets the seismic shove used on him, does have the jump to Strive to get out.
You get a lot of damage on this bot lane turret for Rare Adam, though. Ultra Prime should get Rift Herald here, but honestly, you're trading it pretty effectively for Rare Adam down bot side. If Elk doesn't end up falling.
Got the red-white there doing some serious damage. They always say don't fight, but Leyan sees a by himself Elk and says, no, I do want to fight that. Nice healing back for the Moonlight Vigil, but it's a Lee Sin, and you're an ADC.
Yeah, just flash in from Leyan. He didn't want to risk the potential flash from Elk causing any issues, so boots him against the wall, lands the easy Sonic Wave, and then you get the kill on the bot side, you get your turret plates, and Hacker has disappeared back into his own jungle with the Rift Herald, so he's not throwing it down anytime soon to try and answer back.
That's really interesting the way this early game has gone. Hacker is now looking topside, though, but the Death Realm available means that it'll just turn into a 1v1, and he doesn't want to go for that. He's going to use the quick back with the Rift Herald here, but not utilizing that objective just yet.
At least it will give some control to Zoom on this top side to allow him to push out and won't lose too much underneath the tower. But as you can see, Rare Adam, like at the moment, good start. Nearly 3,000 gold lead for themselves just off of lane advantages, off of the 2 kills on Leyan, the turret plates on bot side. Like, this is actually a great start for them, and I like that we're seeing a bit of a slower pace from them in this scenario where they don't actually need to pick it up at all. They can just play towards their mid game where they pop off.
Essence Reaver has been grabbed by iBoy early on, still stacking up that tier, but that's a big damage spike in a lane that Elk is still struggling to get the first mythic, right? He's still just on that Noon Quiver. Did get the Berserker's Greaves, though, and that bottom lane will get left to its own devices for a little bit longer. Meanwhile, RA, I thought they were looking for Cryin mid. They will be spotting out that vision. They'll get that control there. And now it is about the dragon potentially for RA.
Yeah, Ultra Prime though,
I guess
have
not.
TP advantage in top lane. Good luck to see if Zoom can maybe come in, but yeah, I think you're just waiting on Cube's up TP to come back up, get mid prior for Rare Adam before they commit to this, which I do like. Also getting bot priority here for iBoy is going to be pretty crucial. And now, with both mid and bot in their favor, they will look to start up the dragon.
Hackers on the same screen that things are happening, Dagda. It's happening. It is
And
just the
he
dragon.
quickly leaves.
Yeah, I was going to say.
He was like, oh, sorry.
Quickly finds his exit.
Sorry, this isn't where I'm supposed to be. My bad.
Oh,
This isn't where
I was going to the
car.
cocktail party down the hall. Like, not this one.
Yeah. He quickly exits out of stage left, and now you again, Free Dragon going towards Rare Adam. They're not being like forced into having to fight against Ultra Prime in these early stages, and then they can start to move around the map as they like. Leyan going straight back up towards this top side. I think he's a little bit nervous about where Hacker's going to place this Rift Tower, because you can see it's about 2/3 of the way gone. Probably going to try and use it towards Cryin in the mid lane. So as long as Leyan can try and hover in towards this mid lane, he should be able to try and help strive in clearing that one out.
Yeah, it's been, you know, I put so much focus on this mid lane, and we've had a lot of movement from both mid laners, but no kills to speak of just yet for either of them. Slight gold advantage for Strive, though, because of the CS differential there. And a lot of what's been happening outside of the mid lane, at least, where I was saying, you know, it's going to be a rock for the mid lane for both these two teams. They have opted into focusing elsewhere as well. And I think it's really working out for RA here. But I will say I'm starting to see Ultra Prime group up a little bit more. You're starting to see Hacker not just sticking to the farming constantly. And I'm expecting some more skirmishing coming out as Rift Herald gets utilized by Ultra Prime in mid lane.
Yeah, I think I just want to see Hacker. Like,
I want to see him on my screen.
I think... And this is the thing, right? Like, I feel like you should have been looking for plays in mid lane. Cryin is great setup with the E to try the Unraveled Earth to try and make sure that you can get the CC locked down. Like, Strive would have been forced to flash, then you repeat gank, suddenly Cryi's out on the map, and everything looks great for Ultra Prime. But instead, Hacker has just been playing this PvE style. iBoy and Yuyanjia are just terrorizing the bot lane because you got no help coming from anywhere in the map for Ultra Prime. And now you're looking at a 30 CS lead in the bot lane. 4 plates for Rare Adam's bot side as well. And in theory, Ultra Prime still want to try and contest this later on, but you actually don't have a lead to set up or any sort of tempo advantage to set up at objectives for Vision to actually allow you to cut off members of Rare Adam.
Yeah, I think that bottom lane is getting scarier and scarier as time goes on. iBoy's getting a lot of confidence on the Ezreal pick down there, but it's more so Elk just can't farm. Cryin is about to get obliterated here. Leyan just finds him out. Let's see if Cryin can get out. The flash comes through, though. Sonic Wave followed up, but the Dragon Rage kick not enough to get the kill. Now Leyan might need a little bit of bailing out himself here as the rest of the RA squad from mid lane come to help him out.
Elk and ShiauC on the bot side will get some much needed gold as Yuyanjia was in mid lane trying to help out, but they will just trade this for turret plates on mid lane instead. So iBoy going to be pretty safe under here as long as the Gravitum doesn't cause any issues.
We'll get it. Just a little bit of extra damage given down to the bot lane of RA. And at this point, we're getting our item completions across the board, and we'll check back in after this little quick sneak peek of Cryin, you know, surviving actually, but almost gets his life taken from him.
Yeah, you can tell our replay observers are getting a little bit bored because we're now doing replays of almost kills in this lane. Cryin just have to get out. Leyan had to kick Cryin through Hacker so he didn't die himself, but again, I mean, you're getting some plates on bot side for this Aphelios, who is still only sitting with the Noon Quiver and a pickaxe, so not exactly that terrifying.
Differential. Like, that is terrifying.
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely insane. And again, you're starting to get Yuyanjia just roaming around the map because you're like, well, you pressures iBoy. Like, bar some Gravitum from Moonlight or like some weird like flash handshake that iBoy should be able to avoid anyway because he has cleanse, you just don't get to kill iBoy in the bottom lane. So now he's just free to farm and Yuyanjia's free to terrorize the rest of it.
And terrorize they shall. ShiauC's coming back down to the bot side. iBoy playing up with a little bit of confidence here, but no Gravitum to set up a kill. And he'll get out. Yuyanjia on the roam. Flash handshake. There's the flash handshake. The Weaver's Wall coming across too. There's the hostile takeover, and after everything is utilized, Hacker finally gets on the board.
And that was what I wanted to see. This is what you can do with this composition from Ultra Prime, where you can actually get Cryin roaming around the map. It's just unfortunate they have to do it in response to Leyan taking the Rift out on the top side. It means that they'll be able to crack up in this mid lane turret. You see Leyan instantly puts that down. And Ultra Prime, yes, they can try and move in here to dissuade them, but that tower is going to fall regardless.
Oh, Elk gets the tower in bottom side first, though. He gets first tower for Ultra Prime, will be quickly followed by RA claiming their own tower in mid lane for Strive. And now we have to look at the resets coming out more than likely. Leyan wanting to get back, but we have Dragon in 15 seconds, just about less. And Ultra Prime are already in position for it.
Yeah, I mean, for Ultra Prime, it's nice that they're able to get into position to keep the vision control from Rare Adam, but they also haven't reset yet. Whereas Rare Adam have already. You can see Strive has just gone back. He's TPing into the mid lane. So if you're looking at from an item point of view and just a reset perspective, Rare Adam are in a much better spot, which Ultra Prime realize, so they have to back away.
Yep, Gale Force did just get completed for Elk. Obviously, he had to go back to base to buy that, so he's not out here for the fight. But at least you have a mythic item completion for the bottom side of the map, where iBoy has had a lot of the strength this whole time. But the Gale Force feels like there might be a moment for Elk to try and find some aggression his own right down there on the Aphelios. So it will be another tower, though, slowly but surely going over to RA.
And this is the thing, right? You're looking at a 700 gold lead in the top side for Cube, 700 gold lead for Strive in the mid lane, and now about 1800 gold lead for iBoy in that bottom side. That is an absolutely monstrous lead that Rare Adam pretty much have across the board, and it's why you can see Ultra Prime kind of scared to try and interact with Rare Adam at any point across the board. The next objectives aren't up for a good while, which means now maybe as Ultra Prime you can start to like sack a wave here or there, move Cryin around the map, try and get this Weaver's Wall to slow down Rare Adam, because otherwise they're just going to run away with this game.
iBoy has just bought some very lethal items. He finished his Miramana. It got upgraded. And he also got the Lucidity Boots. So he's on the 2-item spike now for the Ezreal over the Gale Force completion for Elk. And now it's about how do RA utilize that strength. They have moved iBoy to the mid lane. Zoom, pretty tanky target, but iBoy still doing some decent work there. And that's the AoE, or I guess the single target damage you'll be needing iBoy to put out here. But the CC is still something to be very scared of on the side of Ultra Prime.
Yeah, so they're just going to end up backing away here once more. Now you got Rare Adam starting to split up the map. Strive is going to move in towards that top side because they know they want the ranged carry to have that potential to poke away at the top lane tower. Even starting to see if they can get pushed mid to then move even further resources up towards this top lane and get that last outer structure down. And once you do, that's where the vision game comes into play for Rare Adam. Deny access to Ultra Prime towards River, deny them access towards the neutrals, and it becomes way easier for Rare Adam to use the poke from Strive and iBoy, and even Yuyanjia to a certain extent as well.
Exactly that. We do see Hacker moving with ShiauC up on the top side of the map, though will be spotted out by the control ward. Gonna clear that one out. Mid lane is the focus for RA here, just trying to push in the lane. They have also brought Cube here and stuck Strive in the top side to try and take the tower.
Yeah, and hunting though. Trying to see if we can get Hacker.
I don't know if they want to go to this island out here. Hacker might want to find a ticket somewhere else because that island ain't going to be there for long. iBoy still playing pretty aggressively, does have the arcane shift, does get stunned. And luckily, oh my god, iBoy, you got to be real careful. Moonlight Vigil came out as well. Luckily, he just had the flash, so that is a big summoner spell burned, but it's a lot of potential evil, I guess, given over to Ultra Prime.
A bit of a mistake there from iBoy, but they still get what they came for. Strive gets the top lane turret. It's 2 minutes until Dragon, so now they can move Strive back in towards this mid lane, start to link up, get the push, and then just lean in towards bot side. You've already got some vision control established there already for Rare Adam, but it's just about making sure you can double down on that and denying Ultra Prime access to this river.
Denying access is going to be super important, especially when you're looking to set up these fights when we get the objectives coming up. 27 seconds for the Baron to come up, about another minute 40 for the next Dragon. It would be soul point for RA, but the question is, set up around those objectives. We've seen Ultra Prime very much willing to give up a lot of these objectives in favor of better fights and better setups for those fights.
I mean, to be fair, I think with the way this game is going, Rare Adam are perfectly happy to just fight now. I mean, Tiamat now for Strive, he's hit his 2 items alongside a little bit extra. You've got the same coming through from iBoy. Like, this poke is already really sore from Rare Adam. And for Ultra Prime, like, if you just let this game continue to keep going, you're never going to win. Like, you need to now find those moments to find these picks. And That's what we said, Ultra Prime were pretty good at attempting to go for prior to some of these objectives. Now they just need to make sure they can get it to stick.
Yeah, I don't know how sticky it's going to be. We'll find out, though. Cube does use the Death Realm here onto Zoom. Weaver's well coming in from Cryin as well. They're TPing Strive here. Cube is surviving. He flashes over the wall. Nobody has anything to say here. Strive packages in. iBoy gets the kill to Zoom. RA, they don't survive very much longer, though. Hacker gets one of the kills. The reset there. Hostile takeover. Cryin does have the bailout. iBoy is just cleaning house here. He wants more kills, but here comes the resets. Hacker can't get it. He can't cut it. And a triple kill for iBoy.
I mean, I like the idea of the pick. I just hate the pick that they decided to go for. Cube by so much time. Strive is able to TP down. You've got Rare Adam who are able to respond, and it's Rare Adam who pick up the win. 5k gold, third dragon for Rare Adam. They are in firm control of this game.
It ain't the kills I could ask for, but it's the lead I could ask for if you're a fan of RA, because this is dominant for 21.5 minutes, and it'll be a sole point for the squad. iBoy is firing on all cylinders, and Cube, well, Cube is just Cube.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's a good shout from Ultra Prime to try and make a pick happen, but you can see here how much time Cube is able to buy. Strive TPs in. You have the rest of the rest of Rare Adam able to move from top side of mid all the way down here just in time. And not even Cube and Strive, you see, they're the ones that strike first in this fight. So by the time the rest of Rare Adam show up, they're already in a great spot. Elk doesn't get to do anything in this fight either, because he's just not able to enter the play.
Unfortunately for Elk, I mean, that would have been a big game changer here, especially with the low health bars of RA and the damage that the Aphelios is going to be having. But it's all about timings, and RA find the timing there on top of the kills, on top of the macro, and now they're in mid lane, forcing the hand of Ultra Prime, because Ultra Prime really don't have anything they can do but try and farm up and hope they don't get forced into a fight too soon.
And as long as Rare Adam aren't like overcommitting in like trying to contest vision here, like Leyan is.
Speaking of, oh my god, hostile takeover comes out. Wait! No way! No freaking way! Alright, well, Leyan, you just get to have fun today, I guess.
Durability patch. Let's go.
Feels
Leyan.
good, man.
You really should have gone down there. But this is what I'm saying. As long as they don't over-contest and extend trying to contest this vision from Ultra Prime, and Ultra Prime can get picks back, you can get so much poke coming down from Strive, from iBoy, like just being able to hit Ultra Prime as they start to move in towards vision. And it's just going to be a slow game for Rare Adam, where they just, every time Ultra Prime tries to contest the vision, poke them down, as long as one member of Ultra Prime is forced to reset, then you bring forward the wall of vision. It's this like slow taking of the jungle from Ultra Prime, and making sure then you can always just fall back to take these objectives.
Exactly. It's been objective dominance here, except for the one early one, the first dragon for Ultra Prime. That was a circumstance of, I guess, vision game and movement around the map. Here comes Ultra Prime, though, utilizing the speed to try to maybe get an engage on iBoy, but it is an Ezreal, it is an iBoy, it is a cleanse, it's a flash, it's everything available for the Ezreal itself, and RA just able to play how they want to here, keeping everything in mid lane, getting a side lane pressure with Strive over there on the Corki, still having the TP available as well.
Yeah, I mean, this is it, right? Rare Adam just looking to get the poke. They've got waves in their favor. Cube is here in case Zoom goes for the engage.
iBoy might be in some trouble there. Red White is there for Elk. Weaver's wall comes out. Hacker has found Leyan. The fight continues, though. Cube is tanking up a storm. Uses the Death Realm as well into Zoom here. Leyan is on the flank. He has Dragon Rage kick. Look at the AoE coming down. Hostile takeover will not really hit anybody. Dragon Rage kick comes through. But this is where RA functioned best, when they could poke you down from range. And now Ultra Prime have to reset because of that poke, and RA take up the top side of the map.
Yeah, with Zoom gone, there's no front line, so Rare Adam gets to poke
Look how
on
fast
towards
they
the
do
squishies.
this.
And now they get it. Yeah, this is really well played by Rare Adam. Slow, methodical in these fights. And Ultra Prime, they TP in, but there's nothing left for them to take. They'll turn their attention towards the mid lane structure instead, knowing that Baron's already gone.
I feel like that's happened so many times for Ultra Prime, where it's like, just barely don't make it in time. We're just right there on the edge. and we decide to back off, and Ultra Prime don't really get anything for it. Here they do trade it for the mid lane tower. How much is that really going to add up to in the grand scheme of things? Not that much, but it is a big lead in the grand scheme of things for RA here, as they have found themselves at step out, a little less than 7,000 gold. But it is the Baron buff that is scary. It is the Dragon coming up in a minute that is scary, because it's a soul point, it's siege, and it is all very hard for Ultra Prime to approach.
And Ultra Prime didn't even get vision control down around the Dragon as they exited out from that mid lane turret. So you don't even have the opportunity to try and spot out where Rare Adam are. Zoom even using that TP as well, trying to see if they can contest the Baron, means that he can't TP into some funky angles to try and get some sort of play. But they go into Cube again, and he's fine with this. He's so tanky.
He absolutely is, and iBoy's following it up with some serious poke on the back end. You got to be careful, though, because RA are working on 3 items for big carries here, and those are damage numbers you do not want to deal with. iBoy playing a little bit extra on the top side, might be in some trouble here, stunned up. Everybody from RA comes forward, though. They say they cannot lose iBoy. Package across the middle. Strive is in the backline. Cube has used the death realm on ShiauC, kills him down, and this might just be a free ace for RA. They need one more. They're going for it. Look at iBoy with the confidence, but he's dying, and Cryin picks up one of the kills back. It doesn't matter, though. It's an ace, and RA are smashing this game number 1.
I mean, you still have 20 seconds until Ultra Prime are up. You have Strive here who can get to work on these towers. Rare Adam look to close out game number 1.
You thought it was going to be the first series that was an easy 2-0 victory, but it is RA who come out with abandon here in the first game of this series. It's something that we, going in 15 minutes of this game, I was like, Ultra Prime still got a lot to live for here, but they do not any longer. Game 1 goes to RA.
And well played by Rare Adam throughout. Taking it slow, Leyan just making sure that he's able to spot out where Hacker was at all points in time, even getting 2 nice kills for himself in the early stages. And when you get to the mid game and you have no pressure on you, there's no dragons that have been taken, you've pretty much had full control of the game from start to finish, this long range composition is able to do a ton of work for Rare Adam.
Wow, what a way to kick off this series. I saw the poke, I was like, their strategy is very forthright. They know exactly what they want to do, but something else that we wanted to say for RA is, keeping it simple. You know what's simple? Use your abilities towards the enemy champions from range. I feel like that's pretty simple, and it ended up working out for them. I know that's a very dumb way to put it, but I can appreciate dumbness as a play-by-play, and I think as RA themselves, right, they will come away from this first game saying, this is the kind of plan that we really should be sticking to. Things that make us feel comfortable, and the confidence as well. iBoy playing on that Ezreal like it's back in spring, where you can just go for it no matter what. And it worked out beautifully for them.
Yeah, I will say there is a very thin line between brave and stupid.
Very
and
thin.
iBoy was towing that really well in that game, because there was moments where I was like,
that's what makes a pro player, though. Come on, right?
Yeah. But look, I definitely agree. I think Rare Adam played this beautifully. And as you say, look, League of Legends, at the end of the day, people like to make it sound more complicated than it really is. If you have longer range and that guy's standing over there and I hit him in the face with my abilities and he can't hit me back, we're going to win. And that's all that the Rare Adam needed to do. And they knew that that was it. So they end up finding really good moments to do that. And all they had to do was deny any sort of vision control for Ultra Prime in towards these objectives. And they did that beautifully as well. You can see them setting up nice and early, playing this slow game on slowly inching their vision line forward. And it meant that you never really got that opportunity for Ultra Prime. And I think that's the big talking point for this is Hacker.
Absolutely.
You could have tried to play around Cryin in this mid lane. You have great setup with this Taliyah for ganks. You have Strive, can't even try and Valkyrie away because he's going to go over the Unraveled Earth, and then it's an easy kill, but that's not what we got. Cryin, because he didn't get help, didn't get the access he wanted to the map, and Ultra Prime, that slow, steady decline you can see in the go graph there.
Yeah, and the damage numbers. I mean, Cryin, the only one that busted over 10,000, and we have 3 people on side of RA to do so, and I think again, I like the conversation you brought up about Hacker just wanting to see Hacker, wanting for him to do something, but it's also playing to your conditions. And we said at the beginning of the day, right, it's like pick a style for Ultra Prime. Well, they picked the pieces that felt comfortable for them, I feel like, especially in the way that they like to draft their games, but it's sticking to that and finding ways to play around that, right? Like you said, it's so easy to set up in the mid lane with the Taliyah, but we never got to see that. It was always Hacker responding to Leyan and the aggression that he was putting down. So I'm very excited to see what